Count money, man. Stack riches. Try and told him I'm a beast, bud.
What's up, gang? Welcome back to another episode of the GRINDcast. Get ready. It's a new day. We're going to be talking about not being soft today. You know, people are alluding to the fact that it's a new thing. You know, 2022, people are softer now than ever before. I think, you know, we don't have to look too far back in history to understand that a lot of our forefathers and people that were here, you know, 80 years ago, 100 years ago, were a little bit tougher than some of the people just in the environment that we're currently raised in, you know, right now. Things were just a little bit tougher, and being, you know, raised in environments that are tougher, you know, as Americans, you tend to probably end up a little bit tougher yourself. Even when you look at the game of football, went from leather helmets to you could barely touch a person, you know, when they're running. There's a lot of different analogies that you'll see in life. It's just showed how over time, in general, it seems like things have taken a turn for a little bit, just being softer. But it doesn't mean every individual, every area. You know, I still know a bunch of super tough people that would have ran through people 100 years ago. You know, so there's dogs out there, but just in general, to go to where you want to go, you got to make sure that you're checking the box that says, I'm not being soft. And, you know, I think more people, they think of soft or someone not being soft as mentally tough is not the same as being physically strong. Physical and mental is two different things. And physically over time, you know, I don't care how good you stay in shape, you know, you're going to be different at 60 than you are at 20 physically. 50, you're going to be different than you are at 25, you know, physically. But mentally, you should be able to be more developed and stronger, because your mind can continuously grow and get stronger, but the body over time will fail you. And so, you know, where I want to encourage people to get stronger is in their mind over their biceps. And while I have nothing wrong with the biceps in other areas of, you know, physically growing, I'm all about it. But your mind has to be able to grow at the same pace that your body is growing. You know, I see that is an issue with some people that have a lot of quick success in professional sports, that their mind hasn't developed at the rate that their skill set for their body has developed. And that'll happen a lot, where you'll see people crash in business that way. And so, you know, I think your job is to find the right coach, or a coach that you know cares about you, cares about people in general. Just, do you know the coach cares? After that, it's up to you now. Well, really, it's all up to you, because if you don't like where you're at, then do something about it. You're not a slave. And so if you don't like the leader, you know, at some point you got to look back and say, you know, who's the real problem if I haven't liked the last 4 or 5 leaders, you know, sometimes. But, you know, I think what I'm getting at is you can't be soft and go to where you're trying to go right now. You got to be able to take some hard coaching, and most people can't take hard coaching. So that's why I said, like, once you realize the person cares about you, don't worry about the delivery, because the delivery is not always going to be great. It's not always easy to swallow the truth. And sometimes I watch so many people pass up on being able to grow and gain knowledge because they can't handle the delivery of the information, you know, or the person says it, you know, a little bit tough, and they're not able to handle the delivery of it. And really, you know, I want us to start moving in the direction of having the right perspective. This will help you with not being soft, is looking at how many people got it worse or how things could be worse is such a huge tool to me personally. Finding areas of life that you can remind yourself that it's easier for you than it is on them keeps things in perspective. So for example, man, you're sad, you're not going to get to see your family for a week because you got to travel and you got to go hard, at doing something. Well, is it worse than somebody that has to go overseas that's in the military that may not ever see their family, but they're probably not going to see them for 9 months straight? Or someone that's been to prison for 5 years, trying to find ways of pushing yourself of, oh man, I had to wake up early and work really hard the last few days, and I'll have to get up so early today, and it's 5:30, I got to get up, or 6, I got to get up. Think about Navy SEALs that go through training where they're not allowed to get more than 1 or 2 hours of sleep for a week straight, and they're about to get drowned in 40-degree water and sit out there and freeze locked arms, or carry something in the dark where there's just bugs and snakes and carrying logs, and all kinds of stuff like that. Like, is that harder, or is what you're doing harder? People were playing football with leather helmets. MMA started out no weight classes and like minimal rules and no gloves. So is it harder now, or was it harder when it first started? It's putting things in perspective for yourself when things are going hard, because you have to be able to get rid of the poor me's. You have to, you're going to be going down a weak road mentally when you haven't learned how to get rid of the poor me's. And we all got it in us, where we start feeling bad for ourselves on how we got it so bad and how we should feel so bad for ourselves. And the antidote to that is to be grateful and to put things in perspective. And so put things in perspective to other people that have it worse, and then flip around and look at, what do you have to be grateful for? And then looking at, a lot of times what'll cause people mentally to get discouraged is they're not as far along as they want to be. Or they look at somebody else that has the car that they want, or the marriage that they want, or the body that they want, or the vacation that they want, or the position that they want. They look at someone that has something that they want, that they don't look at what the person gave up to get there in the process. And so they get discouraged by not looking at the person's process and all the stuff that sucked in the process. You're looking at someone's chapter 10 when you're on chapter 1. Like, have you ever watched a movie where the end of the movie is great? Everybody's kissing and hugging. Everybody's happy. The scene ends with people walking on the beach into the sunset, laughing and smiling, a dog with them. But in the middle of the movie, all hell broke loose. Shit was hitting the fan. The dog almost died. Kids were lost. Husband and wife were fighting. If you just fast forward the movie and look at the end of the movie and everybody's happy, you would have missed the whole part of the movie where there was all this turmoil going on. And so it would be easy to look at that end of the scene of the movie and say, I want that. But you don't get that without this. And so people miss the struggle and they see the shine, and they allow the shine of others to discourage them because they wish they were further along, not understanding that all the people that you see shining had to go. It's either fake or they had to go through the mud in order to get there, in order to make it happen. So you see the person making $1 million a fight, and you're broke. You're an amateur fighter asking people for sponsorships right now for a couple $1,000 just to train. and to survive, and you're looking at somebody make $1 million on a fight, but have you considered those people had to do the exact same thing? They had, if you start to listen to a lot of people's stories, a lot of them didn't have a car at all, or had to walk, or had to ride a bike, or had a crappy car, or had to beg people for this, or had to beg people for that, or could barely afford to live. And then you see that one moment and you think it must be nice. Or you look at somebody celebrating 10 years of marriage and they're holding hands, kissing, and you're thinking, oh man, I wish my relationship was like that. But you didn't see those people fight, argue, not get along for a month, contemplate quitting on each other, and find a way to come back together, bring it better, get tighter, get closer through that process, and continuously work on it, falling in love. You didn't see them when they were falling out. You only saw them when they were falling in. And so it'll help you to not be soft in the process when you start to look at everybody that you're looking up to, or that you think has some form of thing going on in their life that's ahead of you, and you consider the process and the price that was paid, and understand how close that you are, because you're not that far away. The only difference is the distance and the price in the process that you're willing to pay consistently. Because you got to outwork everybody. You can't expect these hardcore results by putting in soft core effort. There's no way to hide. At some time you're going to pay the price. So when you see people skip parts of the process and they get ahead a little bit quicker, a little bit further, but they kind of slick their way around, they got a price that's coming. They just didn't have to pay it when you were paying it, but they're going to pay. And to me, the price is always cheaper if you just pay it up front than it ends up costing you more money down the road. And so if you're in the process of building something special, of doing something special, you got to expect for there to be trials. You're going to want to quit. You know, I've been reading, we've been reading almost a book a month together as a leadership group and team. And we just got done breaking down the book Winning, Tim Grover, Jordan and Kobe's trainer. And he was talking about winning takes you going through hell. And if you don't fight your way out of hell, then you stay there forever. And so really the common denominator that everybody got to understand is that we're all going through hell. Some of us may be in different parts of the journey through hell, but really life is all about adversity. To live is to suffer. You're going to go through stuff. I think I remember seeing something somewhere that said you're either going towards an adversity, something's about to happen. You're in the middle of an adversity currently, or you just got out of one. You're coming out of it. But one thing is for sure is that shit's just revolving around adversity. Something's coming. I ain't speaking negative on you, but if we're 40 and we're going to live to 100, there's probably going to be some adversity in the next 60 years that we can expect to happen. So it's coming. Adversity ain't going nowhere. The only thing you can control, because sometimes the adversity that we bring is on us. Sometimes the adversity we bring is not on us. It wasn't our fault. All you can handle is how you're going to respond to the adversity. And I think if you learn how to handle your response to adversity, you'll learn how much control that you got over your life, because you don't have control over adversity. The shit's going to happen. But when you start to control the way that you respond and think about that adversity, now you got an opportunity to start to change things around you, because all the people that want success, they look at the people with success and think that they didn't have to go through adversity to get there. That's what they think. They got lucky. And most of the time, that ain't the case. It's they went through adversity and they didn't quit. And the way to help yourself not quit is you have to expect trials. I was joking recently. Me and my wife, Nat, celebrated 8 years. We were at a Boston Red Sox baseball game. We're not Red Sox fans. We just went for the history of Fenway Park. And a guy got engaged right in front of us. And me and Nat start giggling because I'm under my breath. I said, better strap it up, big fella. Hope you know what the hell you getting yourself into over there, big dog. He was like, easy 300 pounds, probably 400. And Nat's like, shut up, starts laughing. We're both laughing, but I'm looking at her like, you know I ain't lying. We're celebrating today. It's a ball right now, 8-year anniversary, but you know this ain't been easy. You can see how people tap out. For sure. And so that man has to have realistic expectations, expecting trials to come. And although I wish no adversity upon any couple, you really don't know what you got until you start going through adversity. I've seen couples that would be on a magazine with the high school sweethearts, just unbelievable, divorced down the road. And so you got to expect there to be trials in whatever you're aiming for. Just expect them. Just be ready. Because when you have an opportunity to separate is when those trials come, because your brothers and sisters, your teammates, or the people that you're chasing on this journey, they're all going to go through some form of adversity. And the time that you can separate yourself is not in the time where everything is great. Everybody can perform when everything's great. Sun's shining outside. You're getting along with your family. You got momentum. Everything's good. Got a big fat paycheck. That ain't where we separate. We separate when adversity comes. Now how do you handle it? You had a death in the family. It took me 24 hours to recover and get focused. It took you 24 days. It took somebody else 24 months. And it may sound cold, but your mental toughness in these adverse situations that come your way that you have no control over is how you start to separate yourself over the long run, because you're not going to be able to win without tasting some urge to quit. The majority, not all, but the majority of people that are around me, that are millionaires, that are having success, all can look back on a moment where they thought about quitting somewhere in their journey. So the difference between the people that I'm looking at that have the ultimate success and the people that don't is all the people that are having crazy success, they didn't quit. You understand that you cannot quit your way to the top, right? But there's people out there that every time things get hard, they quit. Things get hard in a relationship, they quit. Things get hard at work, they quit. Things get hard physically and they quit. They just quit as soon as shit gets hard. But understand at the highest levels, you can't win without tasting some urge on that journey to quit. Everybody has tasted the urge to quit, but the ones that win don't. And so I just want to encourage us out there to get a little bit tougher today and to ask ourselves, have we been soft? Are we making excuses? as to why we're not getting up when we said we want to get up in the morning? What time are you getting up in the morning? What time do you want to get up in the morning? And are you making excuses for yourself, being soft? Are you trying to recruit right now and attracting talent and you're acting like it's up to somebody else out there? There's some recruiting god that has a spell on you and you're doing everything right, but you're not getting the fair result that you deserve. You're lying to yourself. You're being soft. You're skipping doing the hard things. There's something that's in that process you don't feel like doing, that you're not doing because you're being soft, that's stopping you from getting hard results. Let's keep it real. Physically, if you're training, if you're bodybuilding, if you're a fighter, ask yourself, have you been pushing yourself to the limit, to the level that you know you're capable of being pushed to? Are you making excuses that you're tired and not going to training? Everybody's tired. Or you don't want to make the long drive. Nobody wants to make them. Are you expecting to have these high levels of success without making high levels of sacrifice? Because if you are, you got to shake that shit off right now because you're being soft. In what areas you could be soft by, it takes a super strong person to not argue in a relationship. When you are given the material to argue and you choose to walk away and not argue, that takes a hard person. Not a soft person, because everything in you wants to argue. It takes a real dog with some real discipline to shut up. And so I just want you to move forward in this upcoming week and ask yourself, where have I been soft? Giving myself too much leeway, allowing myself to make excuses. Is it spiritually? Is it mentally? Is it physically? Is it the words that I'm choosing? Is it relationally in your relationships? Where are you being soft? And usually that is feeling bad for yourself, making excuses, not being grateful, and feeling like you're the only one that has to go through what you're going through. Nobody else has to go through it. And you got to think about all the other people that pay the price, all the other people that have had to go through worse, all the other people that currently got it worse. And remind yourself that if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Are you on a journey right now that the vision of it 5, 10, 20 years from today is big and special? Because if you're on a journey that 5, 10, 20 years from today, you can picture it and it's big and special, understand that there's going to be big devils in the way. There's going to be obstacles in the way. Everybody would have it. Everybody got those same dreams. Not everybody got the same grind. The difference between making a dream a reality is the grind in how you handle setbacks in situations that aren't the best. And remind yourself when you're going through hard times or hard moments that this is where everybody feels this way. I'm gonna win this battle. This is where everybody thinks about quitting. I'm gonna win this battle. And remind yourself that you're not alone. You didn't ask for easy. You asked for greatness. And you know greatness usually is going to require you to not be soft, for sure. And so keep on pushing, keep on grinding. If this helps anybody, please share this message. We ain't making money on it. The only thing we're asking people to do is, can we impact more people? Can you help us with the mission of impacting more people out there? And just share it with people that haven't been hip to the GRINDcast or that may need to hear this message that we might be able to impact. Just go ahead and forward that. Don't be afraid to comment, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff also. And don't be soft. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the GRINDcast. Get ready. It's a new day.